Hello everyone, Mike Rempel from Another Set of Eyes with today's Excel Bytes blog post. Excuse me. Today we're going to take a look at two uses of the indirect function. And so here we have a little data range here, January through December, and a list of salespeople and their sales for each of those periods. And I've created a drop-down list with data validation so that I can select the salesman and the month, and in this cell I want to populate the result of that, or basically the intersection of those two references. So we're going to use the indirect function to do that. First thing I've done though is I've named the ranges. So if you look, if I highlight that, that range name is April, that one is named Fred, and we used the create from selection option in the defined names group of the formulas tab to do that. And all you do is you highlight that range, select create from a selection, and say OK, and now it's created those names. So if we look in our name manager, you'll see those that are in there. So in using the indirect function, if we take a look at it, indirect returns the reference of specified by a text string. So in this case, we're going to reference that named range and intersect that. I put a space there, and space basically means the intersection of, and I use indirect again, so the intersection with that one. Close my parentheses, hit enter, and you can see April and Lori returns us a 16, which is exactly what the number should be. If I look at it for Bob, I'll get a 14, which again is correct. So by using the indirect function and using a space between to say the intersection of, we've created a very simple way to access the salespeople's sales for that period of time. Another use of the indirect function would be this. Let's say we have here a list of numbers from cell A2 down to cell A31, and I want to just sum a range of those numbers. In this case, from row 9 to row 18. I mean, I can highlight that, and I can see the sum of that is 12,500, or we can use equals sum and highlight from 9 down to 18, close that parentheses, and again we get 12,500. But if instead I want to change this to 12 and go from 12 to 18, I have to manually make that adjustment, and it'll give me the correct answer. But a way to do that again is by using the indirect function. So instead we're going to start out with our sum function and then insert indirect. And we're going to build a text string to reference the range that we want to sum. So in this case, we're going to, again, start in quotes, put a capital A, and concatenate that with the row number. So that basically is A12. And concatenate that with a colon and a, close that quote, concatenate that with this cell, which references 18, so that's A12 colon A18. Close my parentheses for indirect, close it for the sum function, and hit enter, and there you have the same result. So, but now if I change this to row 20, it dynamically adjusts. If I change that to row 2, it dynamically adjusts, and I don't have to manually go in and change the range or edit the formula to do so. It's done just by referencing those cells. And there you have it. Two ways to use the indirect function. Hope you liked it. I hope it's useful for you. If you'd like to see more, please go to my blog site, excel-bytes.com, and feel free to subscribe. Happy excelling.